I guess I didn't swag enough. Stupid fruity pebble chain. We bag enough. I guess I didn't swag enough. Stupid fruity pebble chain. We bag enough. Poppin' tan model BC couldn't brag 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 enough. I guess I didn't swag enough. Stupid fruity pebble chain.
And welcome once again to another episode of the Horizon Roundtable. I am Bob McDonald, and joining me is my co-host Jim Saro.
Hey, good day, everybody. Happy Horizon League, almost upon us season.
Yeah. Jim, you can find on Twitter at Jim Saro. You can find us on the web at horizonroundtable.com. You can find links to all of our social sites and all podcast sites where we're available at horizonroundtable.com/subscribe. Become a patron, patreon.com/horizonroundtable. We've got the features still going. We also, by the way, preview week. Hello, early access. You want that, don't you? For as little as $1 a month. So patreon.com/horizonroundtable. And of course, we've got our donation drive going on too, horizonroundtable.com/donate. So, Jim, it's that time of the year.
Yeah, it is definitely time of the year. The most special episode. We've had some great coaches and some great other people on the podcast, but I mean, we have a superhero amongst us today.
Indeed, we do. And incidentally, to Jim's point, if you have you not watched the preseason extravaganza, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch the full 2 hours or bits and pieces of it, whatever you want. We had a whole group of people on. We had Bart Lundy, we had Andy Toole and Ben Howlett and Rob Summers, Kelly Ford from the Horizon League, and we also had John Templon, who's doing the Horizon League preview for Blue Ribbon. But you are correct. Today, this episode, as we have done as an annual tradition, we bring back Horizon Boys. So Horizon Boys, thank you for joining us once again. We always enjoy having you on.
Oh, thank you so much. You never give me so you never short my introduction, so I appreciate that. I don't know if I can hold it up to 4 Horizon League coaches that you had on the last episode, but it's an honor to be back on.
Yes. I should also point out that not only because we'll talk about Horizon Boys, what Horizon Boy is all about here momentarily, but we're going to add one more thing to Horizon Boy's resume: Horizon Roundtable remote correspondent. Because Horizon Boy, who is a Chicago guy, as those of you who have listened to the podcast should know by this point. We're gonna have him. We're gonna have him at the Cleveland State Loyola game and the Cleveland State Northwestern game. So wow, hey Cleveland State fans, we're gonna have road coverage of your teams, but come on. So yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I'm getting to work. I'm looking forward to it. I miss back when UIC was in the conference, being able to get some media access and provide the roundtable with that. But I'm looking forward to helping out Cleveland State here in November.
Yeah, this will be it's yes, since UIC, because yes, we did have you on a few game 1 or 2 games at least for at UIC before they skedaddled. The plan originally, as you and I had discussed, and because Detroit Mercy will also be in Chicago on November 3rd playing UIC. How did you just like flip a coin and decide, hey, I want to go to Cleveland State Loyola? I mean, not to say that's a wrong decision.
That's exactly how the analysis went.
There you go. All right. Well, that's perfect then. Perfect for us because yeah. Well, I have
Hey, Bob.
yes.
I'm hoping that Horizon Boy's analysis for his picks come gambling season are more than a coin flip. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough 45 minutes to fill today.
Yeah, very true. So Horizon Boy, yeah, I mean, you pretty much segues into kind of what you've been doing, how you came to be, and for those who've just who are new to the podcast, Give us a brief kind of synopsis of how Horizon Boy came to be and what you're all about.
Yeah, so Horizon Boy is a project that's going on, I think, year number 8 this year.
I think so.
Um,
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
and the goal is to pick every single Horizon League spread in conference play. And I've been doing that for the last 8 years, hopefully to get good at it. And have I done so? Not really, but it's kind of turned into more of a fun way to engage with fans across the league. And for fans to either be on Horizon Boy's side or against Horizon Boy. Am I with your team or am I against your team? As well as trying to make the league more fun just by providing some commentary and jokes along the way. Because it's a fun league, and I hope I can be a tiny, tiny piece of making it a little more enjoyable.
Yeah. So how'd you do last year? I forgot where you ended up in the overall scheme of things.
We got off to a rocket hot start, and then cooled off a bit, but still finished right around 52% on the year, which is going to be, you know, almost a coin flip, as Jim said earlier. But it's hard. It's getting more and more challenging uh, to identify these teams, their strengths, especially early on in the season. But I think that just means more studying needs to be done, more arbitrage opportunity because nobody else knows what they're doing. So I look forward to the challenge, and I look forward to getting to know so many different players and coaches every single year.
So I gotta bring this up to you because this is year 8 of the Horizon Boy. Since that moment in time, and I don't think we've discussed this in the recent years. Obviously, as as sports betting has kind of exploded over the last 2 or 3 years. Um, have the followers of Horizon Boy got less or more crazy?
I mean, I definitely I love getting like a mean DM after a loss. Like it just gets me going. Like it's fun when somebody's, pumped about your pick, and it's just as fun when somebody's really upset about it. Not something I shy away from. I think it definitely has gotten more crowded in the sphere of there's a lot of other people trying to make picks and put them on the internet, and a lot more gambling discourse out there, which it's a little bit rich of me to say like, well, I was here first, and I have the right intentions, but it's funny to see all the different gambling accounts and people that are really trying to I don't know, make money off of it, and that's not really what I'm here to do, or but it's funny to see the difference in gambling Twitter from now versus when I was getting started 8 years ago.
Yeah, I by the way, I don't think we definitely didn't discuss this. Apparently there is another Horizon League bet like handicapping guy, the Horizon King, I think his name is. I don't
Yeah,
remember. I
he
don't
popped
yeah.
up. That was fun. And I kind of like I remember seeing that on the internet and thinking like, no way. Like this person's doing the exact same thing I am. And messaged that person like a little bit like trash talk to try and start a rivalry, but then they were just so nice. So we became friends.
Wait, well, that's good. That's a good thing to have happen. Um, so one of the things we should also point out is that your primary kind of sphere is the conference schedule, and which I understand because trying to forecast the non-conference schedule would be just insane.
Right.
Um,
And yeah, I mean it's hard to know, we're looking at these rosters, there's so many question marks, and that's the rosters that we're looking at. Don't get me
sure.
started on how Ackland's looking this year. And I think that kind of takes away from the project, which is gaining an expertise in a specific niche. If you throw other teams in there, the Delaware Blue Hens, I don't know anything about the Delaware Blue Hens, so it kind of makes it more difficult to claim that I am uh, informed.
No, I get it. I get it. I mean, Jesus, who knows that? I know. Yeah, the people I know who are like in that level is just like, yeah. I see it, and it's like, yeah, that would take your entire day for sure. Still would
Bob,
take more than your
I
time.
see I see social media collaboration opportunity. Horizon Boy meets and does work with whoever the Conference USA sports degenerate gambler is so that they can do a Delaware Blue Hen pick. Because I believe they're in Conference USA now. But if
They
not,
are.
Yeah.
They are. They
yeah.
just got to Conference USA, correct?
Yeah.
That sounds
So
dangerous, though.
there you have it. Look for collab material in the 25-26 season from Horizon Boy.
Yeah.
I guess the only question is, are you down?
No. No, I mean, I like, again, more. It is fun to try and pick the games, but I think more than truly trying to be profitable and gaining expertise, it is about the fan engagement and making it more fun and
Yeah.
tradition and having something, consistent to look forward to for Horizon fans around the league. So I hope I can provide that all conference play. Just if fans are curious, okay, does Horizon Boy like my team tonight? And then, if that's something that they can do in their pregame routine, that's kind of a fun concept to me.
Well, I can understand why you kind of not you shy away from doing any picks on the non-conference side because let's face it, you need as much time as possible to kind of gather your research and kind of get an idea of what these teams are going to be all about. Because to your point, because half of these teams are almost completely brand new.
It's almost surprising to me that they still offer, you can bet money on these things. You know, early on in the season, I just can't imagine how an algorithm would even begin to cap college basketball in November when so much roster turnover. So many of these guys have never played D1 before,
Yeah.
or played together. It's very challenging to know. I don't know how they come up with those numbers.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second because obviously the big thing, because when you're looking at these rosters right now, like what is going through your head other than, man, I don't know what the deal is.
So this isn't the first year, and I feel like the post expansion of the transfer portal. What do we want to call that? We want to call that
I don't know.
2021, 2022, when things really um, escalated in
Yeah,
terms of the percentage of players that are turning over per year.
yeah.
But every year is a new strategy. And
Hmm.
this year I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to over analyze these rosters and predict who's going to be the best right now. It's going to be to watch in November and not try and overthink and see how teams are gelling it together, see what they've got. Because I'm not going to try and figure it out before I see them all play together.
No, I don't blame you. Um, but yeah, as far as that, yeah, I mean, and again, this is probably part and parcel to the what you've been doing over the years. You see, like we do, that all of the different teams, the way that everybody's been setting up their different teams, and you need some time to really take a look at what pieces they brought in. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And I've been looking at these rosters all summer.
And if you're Green Bay and Coach Gottlieb, you're still looking in the middle of winter. What he added in the middle of the season last year became, part of the biggest pieces of his team.
I'm gonna venture to guess he's not gonna do that. He's not gonna attempt to do that this year because why would anybody do that to themselves? Hopefully the current roster that's here now is the one that's here in January as opposed to last year, which was just like Jim. How would you describe that? You're closer to this than I am.
Yeah, let's just say anything that happened last year, let's hope it doesn't happen again this year. So we'll just leave it at that for the Phoenix. But it's got to make for Horizon Boy a kind of a fun thing when all of a sudden they're playing Wright State on a Tuesday night and some random guy who showed up 2 days ago is in the lineup, starting lineup no less. That's got to make it fun for Horizon Boy to put his picks together that day.
Exactly. And that wasn't a slight either. Like it's a funny world when you can just pick up a former professional who's 27 and now he's in your starting five. It's interesting. It's fun. Um,
Well, and even funnier because when we talk about Jonathan Levy just coming in all of a sudden, you notice that Green Bay may have started it, but other teams are doing that now too. So, and I keep joking that Jonathan Levy crawled so everyone else could walk, and that's not a wrong statement, really, at all. But we
yeah,
are
no,
hoping
I think
we
it's
are hoping.
interesting to see. Like I'm so curious how coaches go about building their rosters these days. Everyone has a completely different strategy. What Um, you know, are you going to try and recruit more high school guys that some Power Five schools are maybe passing up because they want to get some experience first, or are you going to go overseas and try and identify some older talent who's trying to get NCAA experience? There's so many different paths that coaches can explore that really were not the same, I think, even 4 years ago.
That's true. And and again, we're actually at that point where those guys can magically appear in even in the middle of the conference season as the conference season starts back up. Because you could certainly get somebody who wasn't in school fall semester, so get them registered for the spring semester, and lo and behold, there they are. I'm not saying that should be like a a regular practice, but it happens.
And we've seen the opposite of that a few times too now in the league, where guys maybe they weren't key contributors yet, but we're probably not that far away from somebody having a great non-conference season
Uh-huh.
and signing a pro contract in the overseas. Like we've seen non-key players leave mid-season. Green Bay had a kid all of a sudden was gone in December and surfaced in Spain playing professional basketball. So we might not be far away from a guy having a great year and being like, "Oh, I'm heading to Europe now."
Well, funny you mentioned that because years ago, a few years ago, that exact same thing, not the pro part, but Andy Toole kept having this problem where he was having players that were hitting the transfer portal after the fall semester. I want to say AJ Brahma did that, didn't he? I'm pretty sure it was AJ Brahma who announced he was transferring mid-semester, or was somebody else? I can't remember off the top of my
Was
head. But
AJ
yeah,
Brahma like the 6'7" just human beast that jump and
yeah,
rebound? Yeah, then we end up
eh,
at like Arizona State or something for a hot
for
minute.
like 5 seconds, yes, and then he
Yep,
left there
he
too.
did. He did leave midseason.
He did. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was. I couldn't remember if it was him or Dante Tracy, but no, it was one of them. It was one of them. But yeah, it seemed like at a certain point 82 was having that problem even before everybody else was of not necessarily getting players, but definitely having players leave in the middle of the season.
I mean, that's the
So that
crazy part about last year. I think, a year ago today when we were having this episode, we were thinking Andy Toole hot seat, Andy Toole not able to retain his talent, and it was a huge question mark for him. But then he gold mined it in the portal and got, turned it into an immensely successful tournament
oh
team
yeah.
who pressed Alabama the whole way through.
Yeah, exactly. It's again, it's kind of one of those crazy it is hit, and as we know, it has clearly become hit and miss, where you're gonna have guys you think are gonna, because we're doing the whole preseason picks, and I did a bunch of mine over the summer, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna look at most of these and think, dear God, what was I thinking? Kind of like usual.
No shame in that. No shame in that.
I'm relatively shameless when it comes to I picked him. I gotta own it. I'm sure I'll hear a cheerful earful from Wright State fans if they don't finish last.
They're due
Uh,
for a bottom out. They haven't had one in a while, so
they've
I just know
they,
the teams that have lived at the bottom are for the last couple of years are due to return to some level of competitiveness, and the teams that are been competitive for a while at some point maybe take their turn near the bottom, especially if you're not out there with a stacked financial situation to get the roster together. I mean, think about what John Templon shared with us on the extravaganza. Like,
Yeah,
he leaned heavily towards the teams that were able to resource their way to a better roster, and it's hard to argue with that. Now, that doesn't mean that they're
true.
going to cover an 8-point spread, but that might mean they're going to win a lot more games. And so,
That is extremely true, and that's been and as we've seen over the years, the teams that do are able to kind of tap into the transfer market and have the means to tap into the best people, players in the portal are the ones that tend to rise to the top. And we've seen that, that appears to be, and there's that part of it, and then the other part of it, of course, is how will those transfer portal additions translate to the Horizon League game? And like I said, sometimes it hits, sometimes it misses. Perfect example of hitting is Youngstown State. They transitioned from Jared Calhoun to Ethan Faulkner, and they didn't seem to have a problem with that. And I'm looking at their roster right now, and I see a lot of players that could certainly excel once again.
Yeah, I mean, when the Penguins, I would say, have been dominating the portal every year. They
Oh
have
yeah,
they have a whole new roster, and it's been competitive. I mean, it's not the Youngstown State that we grew up with, but they've turned themselves into the higher tier of the Horizon League consistently, and now through
yeah.
multiple coaches. It's fun to see. I hope the Penguins make their first dance sooner rather than later.
I think yeah, that's got to happen soon. I'm sure there will be questions to be asked if we're still down this road where they're not quite there yet. But man, they just seem to be so much closer now than they ever have been through the entire 40 plus years they've been in Division One, and they've had some years, most of them in the Horizon League, where they've been complete stinkers, and they just completely turn it around, starting with the Calhoun era. And I think again, moving, the transition between Calhoun and Faulkner has just been pretty seamless, uh, in my estimation.
Horizon Boy, you might know this. Is there a futures market for NCAA, like, for the Fort Waynes or Youngstowns that haven't made the big dance? Can I bet on that somewhere?
Oh wow. Like the bet
Uh,
is, well, would the bet be a team
Yeah, like, is there a
that
place?
oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
Come
like,
on, they
well,
have
they
they have
always have the
betting
list of
markets
never,
for everything else.
there's always like the list of programs that have never made the NCAA tournament, and it's always a big fun thing in March when they start winning conference tournaments. You get like the first time, visitors to the big dance. If
Yeah.
there's a
yeah.
futures market on that, I'd be putting some money. I don't gamble, and I'd be putting some money on Youngstown State just because that would be fun.
So is it a bet on Youngstown State, or is it a yes no on a team that has never made the tournament more will make the
Like a
tournament?
yes, like you're betting, that whatever the number is that this team will make the NCAA tournament for the first time. Like you bet 100 to win 200 that Youngstown makes the tournament for the first time, or whatever it is.
I mean, I would think they'd be materially the same odds as is Youngstown going to win the conference tournament. Um,
Well,
so
that's what I'm saying. Can I
you could
win?
do it
Can I bet
there.
on that stuff now? Like before, when you're betting on the championship game, you're betting on the team that is already
Yeah.
there, right? Like you already know what's going on. There's more action on something. I want something obscure, like that nobody's betting on. Something
True
fun.
true sicko stuff, because that's what,
Real
Yeah.
sicko stuff.
yeah.
So
I'm not
Horizon
seeing any
Boy,
Horizon League futures at the moment, but I'm sure that I mean that definitely would be a bet in November.
Yeah, there's gonna be there's got to be a market for that somewhere, because yeah, we're so yeah,
So
We've
I'm
got.
going
I
to
think
watch.
we.
As a fan of all and a fan of none, that's definitely something I keep in my back pocket. I'm always, again, I'm neutral. I'm not a fan of any Horizon League team, but I definitely root for Fort Wayne and Youngstown to make their first tournament come conference tourney time. I think that would be so fun for either of those programs to get that chance and get the spotlight that comes with an NCAA tournament appearance.
And it
So
feels like
Horizon
they're
Boy.
good. Yeah.
Next week, I'm going to be in Las Vegas, and imagine the look at the sports window when I walk up and ask for a Youngstown State futures bet. How about that?
Yes.
Have to
I
get some
mean,
manager over there from the back room. Be like, what are you trying to do? I don't see it on the sheet.
No, I want it for that Penguins fan base. They've been one of the best um, home environments in the league, and I think they deserve a tournament. I also,
yeah.
like, but
They,
as you said, Fort Wayne too. Coach Kaufman, how great would he be in March? I think
Oh yeah.
um, one of the most class acts that I've seen. I would love for him to make a tournament with the Dons.
you know, when I think about that, I think I want it more for Youngstown, and not that I don't like Fort Wayne and what Coach Hoffman's done, but you see the investment from Youngstown. You
Yeah.
see them redoing their gym. You see them putting in little VIP areas. You see them, being active financially in the transfer portal. Like they've done what you see them hiring a Jared Calhoun and they had paid him a reasonable amount of money, more than they've been paying previously. And I'm not saying that Fort Wayne hasn't done any of those things. I don't think they've done as much of those things. So I think Youngstown institutionally has done what it takes to get that first visit to the NCAA tournament. Would I be happy if Fort Wayne got there? Of course, I'd be great because to your point, Kaufman, his style, his charisma would be something interesting to see in March. But I don't think that they've been able to put together the same level of investment into their program, and that's what's turned Youngstown State around and
Yeah.
built the machine a little bit. So I'd be all for a Youngstown State visit.
But Jim, back to what you were saying earlier about, some of the teams at the bottom going to be fighting their way to the top, and some of the teams at the top that are gonna have to resultingly fall, and how much resources affect that prospect. I was scratching my chin and thinking about Northern Kentucky.
Yeah. I've been thinking about them for a while too. And yeah, I don't really understand. Yeah, that's eh, this off season was specifically a head scratcher because as we have seen over the years, Northern Kentucky has been pretty good about retaining their players and getting a lot more veteran leadership. Now all of this offseason though, this offseason was markedly different in the sense that you have a team that had a bunch of players run out of eligibility because obviously, you a guy like Trey Robinson, he he's obviously out of eligibility. You have a guy like Sam Vincent, we were thinking might get another year of eligibility, didn't. And then you see a guy like Kean Etijere hit the transfer portal, and you're like, oh, okay, didn't see that one coming. And they're a big Northern Kentucky specifically is a big question mark to me, at least for sure.
Well, you saw even an exodus of guys that are more role players too, like Randall Pettis, and there was another guy, I
Yeah,
can't think of his name. Like they really got hit hard in roster turnover. And
yeah,
some of the guys that they brought in, though, those Division two players that they brought in, I mean, they look interesting and appealing, and certainly you can't go against the track record of a Darren Horn. But
no,
you would
especially
not
not
say
with
that this
D2
is
transfers either. Yeah,
yeah. But you would not look at that roster and say this is a top five roster. So now you're
no,
really hoping that a top tier coach has to lift them above the other teams that maybe on paper look a little more attractive than they do.
Right.
But
And
yeah,
I
it's
agree.
hard to
I'd
believe
say,
with Youngstown or with Northern.
yeah,
yeah, I'd say Horn's one of the best X's and O's coaches in the league. But talk about a resources game. I worry that the floor is kind of falling out beneath him. And I would wonder if he's going to stick around there because he's a coach with marked, success in the past. And if
hmm
his school isn't going to be as supportive and give him those tools that he needs to compete in this league, I'm wondering what's going to go on there at NKU. But that's my team that I could see falling in terms of tiers of competitiveness over the next couple of years.
And the other question, and the thing that Northern Kentucky is one example. For me, Wright State is another example, and it's the experience factor. Because if you look at Wright State's roster compared to the rest of the conference, that looks, because to me, it looks like on the Wright State end, Clint Sargent went really young for his this edition of the Raiders roster. And when I look at what Wright State's roster looks like compared to the rest of the conference, I I wonder if the experience the lack of experience compared to the rest of the Horizon League is gonna really hurt them. And in my estimation, I think it's going to. And the same thing with Northern Kentucky too. But to your point, the Darren Horns had a track record of success getting those non D1 guys to successfully transitioned into D1. It takes some of them a little longer than takes some of them a little longer to transition than others, as we saw with Dan Goretzker, who just came out of nowhere mid-season and did really well. But he definitely does have that track record. Now the question is it going to translate this year? That's a huge question mark for me, though.
I'm not sure, I'm doubtful. I'm skeptical on the North this year. I also feel like I've been a little disappointed with the crowds and attention at NKU games for a program that I think deserves a little bit more respect from the local scene there.
So there's actually an explanation for what happened there. So yeah, if you go to the if you go to Norse Nation's Facebook group, because Michael Rusher, one of our women's writer, actually is one of the moderators for that joint. There apparently was some sort of transition to a new structure as far as season tickets are concerned, and I don't think Northern Kentucky fans were very happy about that. So that I think that may be part of it. That's the issue, but you would probably have to ask them in greater detail. They don't. I'm pretty sure half of them don't like me right now.
You know what? It's
they're the
interesting.
ones that wouldn't credential, right? Isn't that
Oh no, you know what? Yeah, that was years ago. That was like that was like 5 SIDs ago. That was 5SA. Yeah, we're cool now. Michael can get
Okay.
in. Alex Perez is in. We'll be able to get in. We still haven't had Darren Horn on the podcast, so I feel like that's something I am gonna eventually have to figure out how to do, even though I've been trying to figure it out for years.
You know what's
With
interesting is that the podcast lives on, and there's always just a new hater for Northern Kentucky. And I appreciate that on this particular podcast, on this particular day, it's not me. But that has burned a few people in the past, and we'll see if it finally, with new blood, new life in the NKU, is going to take a step backwards if it finally comes to fruition.
True. Well, yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be that one is yeah. But to your point, that one's the Northern Kentucky situation is a really hard one for me to kind of wrap my head around. So, um, but yeah, so and then the other side is that you have a team like Detroit Mercy, who you would think, yeah, who we might think doesn't have the resources that we thought they did, but they seem to be doing okay roster wise, especially when it comes to retaining a guy like Orlando Lovejoy, who is going to be, for me, I think is going to be huge for them to get back. And I think, I don't think I've made it a secret that I'm a very big fan of what the Detroit Mercy has done to this point. I do think that Coach Monty is going to have a very good season this year. I will be greatly disappointed if he doesn't.
Hey, Bob, you know how Horizon Boy has some really awesome hashtags he uses in his picks? Like,
He absolutely does. Yes. We got to talk about that too. Those are the best.
Can we have you, anytime you talk about Orlando Lovejoy, spell yours Orlando Love Poi, and then capital P, lowercase o, and then capital Y at the end for player of the year? You've you know.
Love it. I mean, is he the preseason favorite? I mean,
He's my pick. He is my pick. I'm sure that I am in the minority in picking him as player of the year, but I am on record. I'm on record in saying that Orlando Lovejoy is in fact my pick personally for player of the year.
well, as
Like
I
I
said,
said,
I had to make a decision between the Cleveland State Loyola game and the Mercy the Detroit UIC game. But I've
yeah.
got some loyal Detroit fans in the city of Chicago, so I might have to send them with a Orlando Love Poi sign and
Uh,
tell them to rep it behind the bench.
there you go. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I forgot. Does UI still does he still do the whiteboard, make your own sign things? Because I do remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I used to sarcastically make those. I don't know if I did the last time I was there was to see Nagy come back with Southern Illinois last year. But
Uh,
I wasn't looking around. I didn't note if there were any whiteboard signs to write on.
Well, they ordered 25 of those cardboard pieces for the season, so that's enough for how many people are interested enough to write a sign.
The attendance at that game though last year was better than I had seen in any Horizon in their time in the Horizon League. It was nice to see. I really do wish
Yeah.
that program to succeed, and that's one where they've had some troubles getting butts in seats.
I
yeah.
assume that those were all SIU fans that lived in the city now.
SIU fans were definitely present, but even with the students, I mean, there would be some times where there was not a big student section, and they were showing out.
Hey,
Well,
Horizon
yeah.
Boy, last year you said your win percentage was 52%. Who did you win the most on? I think you keep a pretty good spreadsheet with your records.
Oh,
Like,
that's
who was your
true.
easy money?
Um, the question is, can I access that spreadsheet?
Okay.
I don't have it pulled up, but I might
Okay.
get an answer to you there.
You know what? Just tweet that later at some point in time
Yeah.
for the people. I was just curious, like, if there was one that you're like, I don't even need to look, I'm picking against or picking with, this particular squad.
Wait, I think I got it.
Oh,
Uh, oh, here we go.
do you have a drum roll sound for as producer of the pod? Do you have something you can cue up
I've
so that
never
while we're waiting
had
for?
that ever.
Oh, missed opportunity.
I know, I know. I gotta work. Yeah, things I haven't worked on in the decade I've been doing this podcast.
Put it on the list. Put it on the
Put it on the
list.
list.
You got it, Horizon Boy?
Yeah, yeah, no, see, I did it in the most annoying binary way where I put ones in for when I picked for them and ones when I
Oh,
picked against them and one I
Wow,
lost.
that
So
really is binary.
it's not
That's
an organized. I'm not claiming to be good. Let's see. I was 14-6 on Oakland last year.
really okay. Well, that's good.
okay.
So they were the best one in the league.
And the team that I picked the most was Detroit. I picked them 14 times and picked against them 6 times.
Oh, okay. How'd that work out for you? You didn't pick. Oh, you didn't pick Detroit Mercy against IU Indy that one day, did you?
Yes, I did. When they lost by like 40, I was
Yeah.
definitely on Detroit. I remember
Oh,
you never forget where you are. I remember I checked the score in a bar bathroom and then just put my phone back in my pocket. And well, not that one.
Yeah.
no.
Ordered a shot.
I think that was the game like everybody from Detroit Mercy was out. Because that was the I think because I think Lovejoy was out that game. I think Legend Jeter was out that game, and I think Monty had started like five freshmen, and that was not a fun thing for sure.
Let's see, last year for your teams, Green Bay, I picked them 8 times, picked against them 12, and was 9-11 on Green Bay games. And then Cleveland State, I picked them 12 times, picked against them 8 times, and I was 9-11 on Cleveland State. So I wasn't very good at capping either of your teams last year.
Well, to be fair, Cleveland, who knew Cleveland State was going to rattle off 13 games in a row, 13 wins in a row. I'm a Cleveland State guy. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Hey, all I know is when Horizon Boy, whatever he does with Oakland every game, that is what I'm going to start betting on since that was 14-6.
I
And
mean,
I'm
pretty much.
gonna bring it back. You ready for this, Horizon Boy? I'm gonna gamble my way to Indy. I'm gonna pay for that trip one way or another.
Well, Jim, you want to ride with Milwaukee too? Because I was 13-7 on Milwaukee.
Perfect.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Just wait till the first time I pick those teams and they don't win. You're getting an angry DM from me. Okay, just be
Oh
ready.
yeah, that'll really disappoint me. That one will cut deep.
Yeah.
How
So I
did
do
you
have
do me dirty?
And then the team that I picked the least last year was Wright State.
how'd you do with Great State?
Wright State, I only picked them 6 times in conference play. I was 10-10, but
No.
I was not as much of
Hey,
a
you
bully
broke
as them.
even, which is better than they did last year, so good for them. Um,
But
I do
they
have
have a
to,
fun, as you said. I mean, Sargent goes young. I think
yeah.
Dre Holden last year was one of my favorite newcomers to the league, and he'll be back as a sophomore, true
And
sophomore.
again, Holden was one of those guys we didn't see a lot of at the beginning of the season. We didn't see him until about halfway through.
No,
And so that was definitely I mean, he was on the roster. He just wasn't playing as much as he did in the second half of the season, for sure. But he did really good. The problem Wright State has is their size, and I don't know where they're getting their rebounding from because their main rebounder isn't there anymore. And he got the bag and went to Ohio State.
Finally, he should have done that 2 years ago.
I mean, he probably, yeah, I can't really argue that point.
Horizon Boy, with the mantra of the Horizon League being, major markets. And I know the fine folks in DeKalb like to think they're part of Chicago. I don't know how you feel about your commute as a
Oh, that's a
future
good question.
NIU season
Yeah.
ticket holder. But did I hear the rumors right that you're buying NIU season tickets in the 26-27 season? Confirm or
there
deny?
will definitely be some DeKalb trips, and that was definitely one
Uh,
of those like, damn it. But I don't know. I was for it selfishly because that will allow me to access Horizon League teams. It's definitely a good hour, probably hour and a half out of Chicago. So it's not Chicago in any way.
yeah.
Definitely not a major market, but I'm selfishly glad to have half of a hometown team again after UIC left. Um,
They can't
and
change
we're
that
able to
branding
support
to
them.
major markets and DeKalb. So it just has to be
Yeah,
major market. Go
no,
with it.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
but better than Chicago State in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Chicago State is going in another direction that I don't really understand, but you know what? It's a whole lot of not our problem.
Horizon Boy, have you ever gone to a game at the Jones Convocation Center? I thoroughly enjoy it there.
I
Once
have
I
no,
get
I
once I
enjoy the games
safely get
there.
onto campus.
Yes, no, I've been to multiple. I mean, there's very few people in attendance, but it's a small little stadium. It's cute. I just
You're
worry
on
that
top of
they're
it though.
not
Like it's so
investing in that program, and they would
no.
really be um, bad for the conference net ranking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, would they be, see the problem that I have had over the years, and been really crossing my fingers that this will stop being a problem, is that every year in and year out, we've always had like one, and in some cases two teams that are just at the absolute bottom of all NCAA rankings. Um, like last year, sorry, Jim, you might want to cover
Oh,
yours on the Green Bay thing. And then 2 years ago, we had IU Indy and what was IUPUI and Detroit Mercy were just. I mean, are we finally going to get to a point? I feel like I'm going to open this up to you guys. Are we finally going to get to the point where this is going to stop happening? Because I
That's a
need
good
this to
question.
stop happening in the worst way.
Yeah, and if so, who's that team this year? I don't think it'll be Green Bay. I certainly don't think it'll be IU Indy. I think
No.
I'm a believer in how it's going to be the little McCollum of the Drake of the Horizon this year. Not as successful, I don't think, but I think there's going to be success from those guys that he brought over from West Liberty. I think
Yeah.
winning matters. He's got a track record of winning basketball games, and there's going to be momentum in the jungle. I was not happy about Carsaro going because I liked him a lot, but I'm thinking IU Indy is going to be one of those teams that goes from the bottom tier to middle of the pack this year.
And the crazy thing is, yeah, I still have no idea what's going on with that whole how that whole thing went down. It's so weird. Like, I don't know. That one is going to be a consistent head scratcher for me as to, okay, what exactly went down? Because we never really got we never really got much in the way of an explanation on that one, even a little
No, and I
bit.
fear we won't. I fear we won't. But part of me was
I
thinking,
feel a lawsuit is still coming. I'm just throwing that out there.
yeah, and I haven't checked to see if Coach Carsaro has, found some other opportunity somewhere doing something.
No,
But
he's out there just he's out there just hanging for now.
it's interesting because I mean, on the one side, I don't think that's a decision that IU Indy wanted to make.
No,
Um,
especially not in that late period. Absolutely not. Nobody wants to do
right,
that. It's the worst.
right. And after that
Ask me
season,
how I know.
I would call his first year there his first and only year there a success.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, I'm thinking they didn't want to make that decision, and they wouldn't have
No.
made that decision if they didn't have to.
Oh,
But on the
absolutely not.
other, I was surprised by how many of the players were sticking by his side when it seemed like the allegations were related to mistreatment of players.
Yeah. That one, see,
You know,
that's the
right?
other part of that. Doesn't really, because that's kind of the thing that I couldn't really wrap my head around is that
They
you
had a
had,
they had a large amount of attrition at the bottom of the roster, though. That
yeah,
and
they
like
certainly did. That is true.
normally you would kind of pass that off as like, oh, hey, these are guys that weren't a good fit for the program, or maybe weren't at the level of Division One. But they had a large amount of turnover, and from what I understand, that's where I think I read it somewhere actually that that is where some of the issue is coming from. It wasn't the guys that were the main pieces that were on the court helping them win,
Yeah.
but perhaps some of the players that weren't sticking around and weren't part of the rotation. There was some issue allegedly. Again, we have not heard, and we won't hear anything unless that he does seek legal action, because otherwise they have no reason to reveal that information.
Nope,
Yeah.
not even a little bit. But that's a whole other thing. Again, it does make silly season a little sillier for us in that regards. But to your point, I've just knowing what we know about what Ben Howland did at West Liberty and getting some of the guys who know his system already to come with him to IU Indy. Um, and I we kind of joke with him on the preseason show about Ben's successful Ben's transitioning from Division Two.
Their
No
alma
pressure or
mater
anything.
opposition to it,
Yeah,
nonetheless.
that's true.
Very
I think there's a
important
comparison to be made.
Yeah. But actually, the one and I didn't think about this because he did mention when we were talking about kind of the connection to his old Division Two conference with his coaching staff. One of the guys that is on his staff is John Peckinpah, who spent the last few years at Kokomo High School in Indiana. It's just been outstanding. And he did mention that I think it was a year he spent he spent as the head coach of Wheeling. Jim, you want to know who took over for John Peckinpah when he left
I
at
know the
Wheeling?
answer. I
I
know
know
the
you know
answer.
the answer.
Yep. And Mr. Will Ryan, I believe, got that opportunity, and that was a
No
late
Yes.
way.
turnover for Mr. Will Ryan when he got that opportunity.
No
Yeah.
way.
Oh
There
yeah,
are
yeah.
there are some jobs out there, like you just kind of realize when we had Rob Summers on and he was at Urbana, and I looked at his record at Urbana and I was like, oh my God, like this guy is going to be a D1 coach. And I started looking into Urbana. I'm like, oh, first of all, it's not even a school anymore. And secondly, they
Correct.
basically never won any basketball. He was like the most successful guy they had in basketball. And it kind of made me realize
Yeah.
that, like, hey, you could be a great coach, but if you're in a bad spot, you might not always have the results that you need. And, you look at some of these situations, like, we'll be very curious to see, is West Liberty, was that really a better job than some of these other ones, or is it really because it's the coaching? I'm guessing it's because of the coaching, but hopefully for IUND fans, it's because it was the coaching. But yeah, these jobs are not created equal. That is for sure.
That is true.
And Wheeling is
And
one of them that's not created equal.
yeah.
Not good. Always on the verge of going out of business there.
Which school is that again?
Wheeling, they're always on the verge of going out of business.
Yeah. This is because they used to be Wheeling Jesuit and now they're just Wheeling, and now I'm just like, okay. Yeah. Yeah, the Mountain East Conference has always has some problems with schools and their liquidity, because another one of their former schools is Notre Dame College. It used to be up here in Ohio, which isn't anymore. So yeah. And their basketball coach is back over with Ethan Faulkner at so yeah, going full circle here.
Hey, Bob, do we have time for one more question before we wrap up here?
Absolutely we do.
All right, we're gonna have one fun question for Horizon Boy.
I thought these were all fun questions. Come on.
Well, this is has nothing to do with, we're sometimes we stray from basketball, but I'm really about to stray from basketball. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. With Horizon Boy being an alter ego and the Halloween season being right around the corner, if somebody wanted to dress up as Horizon Boy for Halloween, what would that costume look like?
Oh, good question.
I mean, I think it's got to be the sun with sunglasses. We're that's kind of been the brand. So I would think some kind of orange. But the key is going to be you got to have the big sunglasses. I think that's important.
Like,
but speaking of Halloween, I one of my projects is I want to get Bart Lundy in a magician's costume for Halloween.
Bart Lundy magic. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see some Lundy magic. I want to see him with a whole top hat and everything. So that's my Halloween project, is trying to get him to do that and put it on the internet.
All right, so we got Lundy magic as a costume. We've got Love Poi as a hashtag. Bob, what are you bringing to the table on this thing for interesting oddities?
Who, me? I don't know.
Yeah, you got to come up with something by next week.
Yeah, I'm sure Tristan Freeman. You know what? Yeah, because we got Tristan Freeman coming on next week, and we'll have to put him on the spot on these things too.
Sounds great.
All right,
I guess, Jim, I if I could throw a challenge back at you, I think, one thing I mentioned last year on this show was the need for trophy games in college basketball, especially a league like the Horizon, to fortify these rivalries. And I think, a tried and true Green Bay fan needs to help design the Green Bay Milwaukee trophy that they should play for every year.
Well, Horizon Boy, damn sure I'm not leading the charge on that trophy till I know for sure the team is good enough to win it. Because nothing would stick in my craw more than seeing Lundy Magic hoist up the trophy every year and look over with a little smile and smirk and be like, hey, you're the idiot that put this in place, and I'm glad to rub it in your face.
Smart man. But I don't know.
I love the idea.
Always,
to your point, that's in the Big Ten. They play for trophies like that all the time, and it's fun and it gets the people into it. So I do like that point.
To that point, by the way, and I know I brought this up last year, the whole I-43, come on, guys, stop naming your rivalries after interstates. Nick Lawrenson from Mid-Major Madness had Brew Brawl for Green Bay versus the Green Bay Milwaukee rivalry. I'm sticking with that. I'm done with the whole interstate rivalry thing. I'm sorry, guys. Brew Ball is better.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not palatable to anyone who's not regularly going up I-43 like Jim is.
Like, what was the bowl like where they're eating food at the end of it instead of getting a trophy? Was that like a marshmallow or something? What was that bowl game?
Are you talking about the Pop-Tarts bowl?
Pop-Tarts, yes. I think instead of a trophy, the winning team should get like a beer cheese soup. Now you're bringing the Milwaukee beer and the Green Bay cheese thing together, and that's where it's at. Beer cheese soup.
See, maybe that's what you do. You come up with the trophy, but it's all a ruse. So then at the end of the day, Bart Lundy just has hot soup dumped on him. like a Gatorade bath of beer cheese.
That sounds potentially dangerous, but okay, let's go with that.
Yeah, at the end of the game, they're calling timeouts to draw up turnovers so they don't get a soup bath at the end. Okay, we've really regressed here. I think this is a good point to give it a wrap.
I think you are correct. So, Horizon Boy, once again, thank you for joining us. Tell everybody where they can find you online.
Always a pleasure. I don't know, just look up Horizon Boy. Look for funny memes, look for mediocre gambling picks, and look for some fun in the Horizon League this year. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on again.
All right, and then just that wraps it up for us this episode. As I mentioned, next episode we're going to have Tristan Freeman on. So until then, HorizonRoundtable.com. That's where all of our podcast episodes and articles are. You can pull us up wherever podcasts are available, and you can also pull us up on your Amazon or Google devices. So until next week when we're talking to Tristan Freeman, thank you all for listening.